I want to tell you all the story of one of the greatest marketing successes ever. Maggi is the most delicious food on earth, and that is a fact. Indians consumed 400,000 tons of it in 2014, while Maggi enjoyed a 65% market share of the instant noodle market in India. Where American kids ask their mothers to make them chicken nuggets for dinner, Indian children beg for Maggi. Maggi is a Nestle-owned company which has been on the Indian market since 1983. It quickly became a staple in every household for its 2-minute cooking time and affordable price. Children and adults alike loved Maggi to the point where entire restaurants based around Maggi started to appear. Maggi, the amazing 2-minute instant noodles, my childhood delicacy and favorite comfort food, was banned in India nationwide in June of 2015 for containing traces of lead in MSG. So how did this all happen? It started nearly a year prior during a routine food inspection. There was a random spot check on a packet of Maggi noodles which was sent to a lab for testing. Surprisingly, the sample was found to contain MSG, or monosodium glutamate, which is somewhat controversial of an ingredient. MSG is a flavor enhancer commonly added to canned and processed food, but has been blamed for everything from poor sleep to asthma to even cancer. MSG is legal in India, but requires all products containing it to indicate its use in packaging and provide a clear warning that the product is not safe for children under 12 months old. That is to say, it wouldn't have been an issue that Maggi contained MSG if it hadn't been for the fact that Maggi's packaging claimed that there were no added MSG. The consequence for something like this would have been a fine of up to 300,000 Indian rupees, which is about 4,000 USD. For a huge corporation like Nestle, this would have been chump change. But Nestle was too proud for that. They doubled down and denied adding MSG to Maggi, so as a result, another Maggi sample was sent to a different lab for testing. Nearly a year later, in April of 2015, a lab reported, to no one's surprise, that MSG was once again found in the sample. But another striking discovery was made. 17.2 parts per million of lead, which is about 7 times more than the amount of lead that was allowed in food. This obviously brought about health concerns, particularly because Maggi was marketed at children. Children over the past 37 years might have been subject to lead poisoning. When the Indian public started to learn about Nestle's blunder, they took to the streets and set their packets of Maggi on fire. The previous year, Maggi was rated the 5th most trusted brand in India. Now the public felt like they had been betrayed. The anger only grew as Nestle refused to speak to the public, leading people to believe that the company was guilty after all. As a result, Nestle's sales plummeted in India, and they hit a disastrous low point in their 37-year history in the country. Finally, in June of that year, Maggi was officially banned by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. Articles and case studies were appearing left and right about how Nestle would never recover from their failure to address the public, and that was the final straw. As it turns out, Nestle had a few more straws. In August, Nestle petitioned the court, and after multiple tests, they found that the Maggi samples were compliant with regulations and Maggi was ready to return to the market. And they would do it with style. They began a series of advertising videos on YouTube with the tag "We Miss You Too," which played on the public's nostalgia towards the product. To top it all off, the nationwide relaunch of Maggi was scheduled for November 9th of 2015, which happened to be the first day of Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights and a day associated with well-being and prosperity. And despite everything, the Indian public welcomed Maggi back with open arms. 4 years later, in 2019, Nestle's market share for instant noodles was nearly back at its pre-crisis percentage. Nestle started out as a PR disaster and emerged as a marketing masterpiece. Most importantly, though, my cabinets are once again stocked with Maggi. Personally, when my mom told me about the incident while it was happening, I told her, if I die from lead poisoning eating Maggi, I'll die happy.